Ever since I was born, Kings Island has been my home park, and it's pretty crazy to imagine a world where it isn't my home park. Despite my love for this Ohioan theme park, I can see that it isn't perfect, and it does need some things added and other things removed. In this video, I'm going to be diving fully in depth into what Kings Island's next 5 years of additions will look like. All of these predictions will be mostly based off of realistic ideas I could see coming to Kings Island, with a little bit of wishful thinking mixed in there to spice up the video. Without further ado, let's get started. Starting off with 2022, I actually think that this will be a big year for the park. This will be Kings Island's 50th anniversary, and Cedar Fair loves to celebrate these. I predict that for the 2022 season, the park will be seeing a couple of new major additions, but the first one is that the park's kiddie area, Planet Snoopy, will be transformed into Camp Snoopy. A couple of the other Cedar Fair parks have transformed their kiddie area into Camp Snoopy, and it just makes sense that KI would do the same. Planet Snoopy is one of the best kiddie areas on Earth, however it could use a major upgrade, and Camp Snoopy is just what it needs. It would bring in a couple of new kiddie rides, out with the old and in with the new, and give the overall area a major facelift that it desperately needs. Also, I could see the park adding a Ferris wheel in the area you're seeing on screen. It wouldn't be anything giant, nothing over 150 feet tall, but it would be similar to the one at King's Dominion. It would just be a nice family flat ride that they could get for cheap and market it as a brand new addition, and I'm definitely on board with that idea. Moving on up to 2023, I think that KI will shift their vision over to the water park Soak City and add their first ever water coaster. Cedar Fair hasn't added one of these to any of their parks yet, but they are major new investments that don't cost that much money, yet they are absolute fan favorites. They're super marketable, and it's super unique to Kings Island's water park. They could market it as the biggest, baddest, and longest in the state, and I'm sure that it would draw people from all over Ohio and even more. These are great attractions for any water park with their airtime-filled soaking ride experience, and it would truly round out Soak City's awesome water park lineup. Heading on up to 2024, I predict the focus will be back on the dry park as they'll invest in 2 new flat rides. The first is a Zamperla Super Air Race. These are awesome flat rides as the rider can control how thrilling or non-thrilling they want the ride experience to be. These are also fan favorites, and there isn't one that close to Kings Island, which would make this investment super marketable. The second of these thrilling flat rides would be a Mondial Top Scan. Cedar Fair has added numerous versions of this ride model in the past to their theme park, so I don't see why they wouldn't invest in another one. These are great flat rides that are super thrilling, and they are fan favorites, and it would just make a lot of sense in the park's lineup. These 2 flat rides will be located in some of Vortex's old plot of land. I think that the air race will go right next to Windseeker with their entrances adjacent to each other, and then the Top Scan will be on the other side of Shake, Rattle, and Roll. This will give some distance between the 2 rides, and then still leave a huge chunk of land for Vortex's replacement, which we will get to in a couple of minutes later in this video. And the final thing I could see coming to the park in 2024 is a revamp of the front entrance. The front gate we have right now is pretty dull, and it's very old. It's been here since the park first opened in 1972, and it doesn't look good at all. It's just a giant box with some advertising out front. I think that this should be torn down in favor of a brand new front entrance that they could do one of 2 things with. Either one, make it super modern, something like Cedar Point or Carowinds already did, or what I'd prefer is to turn it into a giant castle. Since the park is called Kings Island and is located in the town of Kings, a giant old-timey castle would look absolutely amazing right before you enter Main Street, but that's just a suggestion. In 2025, I think that we will see Kings Island's most unique addition for a long time. Finally replacing the crypt, we will see a Vekoma Madhouse in its building. These are some of the craziest and most unique dark rides on the market. The room that you are inside of rotates around you, giving you the illusion that you are flipping upside down when you actually aren't. These flat rides can be super well themed, and at Kings Island it would be one of the most unique rides there. There's nothing like it at the park, which would give it a unique spin on your traditional dark ride. These are also fan favorites, and they are fun for the whole family. And from what I can tell, they aren't super expensive either, which would make this a nice smaller addition for a semi-off year of the park. And finally, we've made it to the year that all of you guys have been waiting for, 2026, where I see Vortex finally being replaced by a Mock Rides multi-launch coaster. I think that this will come all the way in 2026 because the park at the moment really doesn't know what they'll put in its spot. They'll have to consider all of the available options, but I definitely think they will come on a decision on a Mock Rides launch coaster. Carowinds added one of these in 2019, and it quickly became one of the best rides in the park and an absolute fan favorite. It just makes sense at Kings Island. They have semi-high capacity, they're smooth, they're reliable, they have a bunch of inversions, fun airtime moments, and as we saw with Copperhead Strike, they can be well themed. It can have a unique twisted layout to fit in Vortex's plot of land, and as much as I don't think it'll be as long as Copperhead Strike, I think it'll be just as thrilling, and maybe even better. This would fill the gap in the park's lineup as another launch coaster, since the last one they got was Backlot Stunt Coaster in 2005, and give them another sit-down looping coaster besides Flight of Fear, cause other than that coaster, the rest of the park's inversions come from their inverts. Anyways, that's gonna wrap up my Kings Island 5-year prediction plan video. I know that I did predict a ton of rides, and at some point over this timeline, they probably will just have an off year where they add no rides, but if I were to suggest that, that would be boring, so I just left that out. Also, I know that a bunch of this may have been wishful thinking, but let me know what you think Kings Island will add in the next 5 years in the comments below, and if you agree or disagree with any of my park predictions. If you enjoyed this video or want me to do more 5-year plan videos, leave a like down below and subscribe for more roller coaster content just like this on Hangtime Thrills. I'll catch you guys next time.